Hey. Getting ready here. How's it going, everybody? We are getting ready to be live. I guess technically we're live right now, but we will do the announcement here shortly. Happy New Year to everybody who's watching. So stoked to be here. Stoked to be here for 2020 and ready to rock and roll. If you're watching on YouTube, let me know that you're here. If you're watching on Facebook, it pops up normally, so that's awesome. But if you're watching on YouTube, give me a comment. Hey, Chandler Henry, Spencer Sutton, how are you guys doing? It's a beautiful day in Western Colorado. It's dumping snow. Paul Anstey, how's it going? Yeah, it's should be a good show. I got some good questions to answer, and then obviously ask anything you got. Happy New Year to you, Spencer. Happy New Year, Paul. It's 2020 is going to be a good one. I have a feeling. I have that feeling every year, and I try to make every year good. So that's the goal. Hey, Jimmy, what's happening? The protein shake. That is awesome. I love it. John Bowman, John Boz, how's it going? Yeah, things are good. We're almost. I will wait till it's actually 10:30 before we do the full-on intro. But yeah, it's gonna be a good year. It's like I said, it's puking snow right here right now. If you're not in Western Colorado, it's like crazy. All right, it's 10:30. Welcome to the Gospel of Two Wheels, live from the Highland Cycle Studio, the very first Gospel of Two Wheels for 2020, and I am stoked about it. It's going to be a good year, guys. Get ready for awesomeness with motorcycles, awesomeness with wheelies, awesomeness with the YouTube channel. First, as always, start with conditions report. It is puking snow outside right now. Absolutely puking snow in Western Colorado. I'd say we already got an inch on the ground from 30 minutes ago. So it started. AJ Ree, Happy New Year. Dirt bikes, absolutely. Zach Mathis, how's it going? Melissa Howie, how are you? So yes, Happy New Year, Happy New Year, Happy New Year. It is, yeah, I know it works better. Yeah, exactly. It's not backwards like Facebook for sure. Yeah, if you like the backwards thing with Facebook, if you don't like that, go to the YouTube link because it's not backwards. I'm using it basically because it's using a different camera. So yeah, it's dumping snow. I would say that unless you have screws in your tires, conditions are not good for you. It is absolutely crazy. James, Happy New Year. Emily Raffaelli, how's it going? Sorry about Luke's bike. That thing needs a lot of love. By the way, Emily Raffaelli is the sister of the guy whose KX450 wouldn't start, turned out to be a fuel pump, but it needs lots of other things. Cami Newman, how you doing? Happy New Year, Melissa Howie. So yeah, let me start with the big news. I don't know. I'm calling it big news. Forget it. It's big news. Starting tomorrow, we are starting with the Daily Schlag. If you guys saw the picture on Facebook, now you know what it is. Everybody calls everything. Okay. Actually, stop real fast. Cami Newman says, maybe you can do a video on how to get back to riding after an injury. For sure, because I'm going to be doing that very soon. And I know, Cami, you will be also. So, yeah, Daily Schlag. Everybody calls their thing a vlog, right? I mean, I've called them vlogs before. Casey Neistat, vlog. Anyway, I'm calling it a shop log, right? So, and obviously it's a play on words. It's a shop log. It's also a schlag because that's what it's like owning a business and running a business in today's day and age. Tori Anderson, good morning. Cami Newman, I'm sorry that you can't feel your feet yet, but you will be back to riding. I guarantee it. My buddy Spencer Gibbs, who broke his neck horribly, arguably died and then came back to life. Anyway, he couldn't feel anything for a long, long time, like anything, neck down, but he's back to riding. So there is hope. Get stoked. But yeah, Daily Schlag. I'm going to be doing a daily video through the shop of what it's like to run a business, small business, youtube.com/motorcycle shop. Basically, it's going to be at least one project a day. One of the things I do a day, we're going to go through what we do. And like I said, every day that we're open, we're shooting a video. So subscribe if you haven't. It's going to be awesome. We should get a lot of cool things, but then like you should learn a lot, and also it'll probably be pretty funny, all that good stuff. Clinton, yes, modern medicine is amazing. That's why this hip is amazing. Hip update is awesome. Went snowshoeing 3 miles with the dog yesterday. Also sledding with the kids. I didn't sled because they don't really want me doing that stuff. Ed Hall, great riding weather there. That's awesome. Where is home, Ed, again? I forget. I apologize for forgetting. Yes, Clinton, the Terminator, that is what it's going to be. I'm stoked. But honestly, the hip is amazing. Stedman Clinic, again, cannot say enough good about those people. They are phenomenal. I still have a little bit of pain in the front groin area when I lift my leg. Again, that's super normal. I don't know if I talked about that before, but I've talked to the Stedman people about it, making sure I'm not like overdoing it. And they said, no, it's just normal. So yeah, it's tough. And Cammie, yes, we are going to be the Comeback Kids. Pete Kane, Happy New Year. Hey, Roger Hurd, Happy New Year, my man. How is Lake Havasu? Hey, Aaron, thank you so much. Well, actually, so quick rundown on our YouTube channel. Last year at this time, we had just under 300 subscribers, I believe, right in the 300 mark. Today, we have 1,600. Woo-hoo-hoo! That's huge, honestly, for me. I know other channels grow a lot faster, but I am stoked. So thank you all for subscribing and joining me on this journey of trying to build an awesome YouTube channel for you guys so I can get the information out, get the gospel of two wheels out for all of you guys. So anyway, let's go to our questions because we had some people ask some great questions. I'm going to start with Jimmy. How do I say your name, Jimmy? It's probably, I don't know. I'm going to butcher it. Neithart, Jimmy Neithart or Neithart. I'm not sure. Roger, do you make money from YouTube? Yes, I am starting to make money from YouTube, and I'm really like stoked about that. I kind of can't believe it. But yes, it is an actual thing. Right now I get paid for ads that run on my thing. I don't have any like big sponsors yet. I'm looking for that. If anybody knows people out there that want to sponsor some shows, that'd be awesome. Deb Larson, Roy Moline, how's it going? Yes, we are going to have a great new year. Thank you very much, Aaron. I appreciate that. So yeah, YouTube pays me for the ads that run on the thing. There's other ways to do it. Obviously, you get sponsors for shows, sponsors for series, things like that. Yeah, I'm always looking for that kind of stuff. We also have a Patreon page where you can commit to a certain amount per month for the channel. I haven't really started promoting that yet. I don't know. If anybody's interested, I would be so appreciative. I can't even explain it. There are obviously benefits to that. I haven't really made the benefit thing up that well yet. So it's going to get better. But so there's Patreon. You can just PayPal us. It's paypal.me/Highland Cycles. If you're interested in helping the channel out. Also, I am looking for, I mentioned this before, but I'm looking for a 125. I want to do a complete teardown, rebuild, motor, and all of the 125 for a series. So that would be awesome. Cammie, yes, I would love to feature some amazing dirt bike stories from different riders for sure. That's what is going to happen. I'm going to get on that actually here soon. So I'm going to bring new people. And yes, Clinton, I want to give away a dirt bike like the Dirt Bike Channel does. I got to make more money before I can do that. Neihart. Okay. Neihart, Jimmy. Okay. So and by the way, thank you all for all the wonderful comments. I've gotten some amazing comments about the videos, and that really means a lot. So I'm trying really hard to do the best job I can for you guys. So let's start with the question. Aaron Hinkle, what's happening? I love it, Clint. Your idea is awesome. to give away a bike 100%. Maybe if I can get people to help pay for a build, then we'll just give that bike away. That would be really, really cool. Okay, Jimmy asks, he starts with valves. Differences between steel and titanium. What material is OEM? And I'm guessing you meaning KTM because you talked about an orange thing. Why are OEM 200 versus Pro X at 50? 150 hours on or 1 year on a $200 OEM. Intake valve not in spec, so shim or replace. Also, what prep work is recommended? Lap valves, cut seats, just slap them in and go. Thanks. Happy New Year. Awesome. So let's start with difference between steel and titanium. Titanium obviously is very light. And Roger Hurd, I'm in 100%. I will figure out how to come and get that. I will figure out how to make that happen. That's it. That'll be our first one. I'm stoked. Yes, Eric, that is Jim. So, and Kate, that'd be great too. So let's start with, so titanium is super duper light. OEM on all the Japanese bikes, except for Honda, is all Thai, I think still. I know that Yamaha is, I know that Kawi is. I know that exhausts on Hondas are. The benefit, obviously, of titanium is it's light. Therefore, you can run lighter springs and you can run higher RPMs without valves floating. So that's the benefit of Thai. In my opinion, the downside to Thai is that it is not that strong. Titanium's super duper strong. Hey, by the way, Garrett Anderson, I just popped up as an email. Thank you so much. First Patreon. Oh my gosh, thank you so much. Like, seriously, that makes my heart swell. So thank you. I'm going to try not to cry. Thank you. That's awesome. Titanium, super light. You can run real high RPMs. Doesn't float. That's great. Not really strong. Thai is strong when it's in it's super strong stuff, but it doesn't take banging very well, like hitting things. It also doesn't take hitting when it gets hot. So they put a coating on it. I honestly don't know what that coating is, but they put a coating on that valve face that helps it be strong. Sadly, what happens is if you let your air filter get dirty or you let any dust come through, it scours that face, it wears that coating off, and then the Thai starts to deform and suck up in the head. So Garrett Anderson, titanium has poor shear resistance. Exactly. Much better saying. Steel are heavier. You got to run heavier springs to keep them from floating, but they last a really long time. Now, material on OEM is steel on the KTMs. I don't know what kind of steel. Obviously, there are lots and lots of different kinds of steel out there, and I don't really I can't really talk to that. A metallurgist, if there's someone out here, you can discuss it. But obviously, it has a difference between what other alloys are put in with the steel, what things that make up the steel. So stainless, again, there are different kinds of stainless. There's not just one kind of stainless. Dan Malone, Yuncon, John Hatch, how's it going? So anyway, so OEM, why they are $200 each, I cannot say. I really do not know because, and I don't know that it's really worth it. And here's the problem. I just realized my camera's aiming at my other camera. There we go. There we go. That's better. So you guys aren't staring. If you're watching on YouTube, you're not staring at the other thing. Anyway, so here's the thing. Kibblewhite Manufacturing makes amazing, really, really high-end valves and valve train parts like guides and things like that. Springs, keepers, all that stuff. So they make them, and their valves are only like $40 or $50 a valve, depending on the valve. Obviously, you got to buy your springs. So it ends up being expensive to switch over to Kibblewhites, but the valves themselves aren't $200. Cammie has a great idea about videographers at the high school. That would be awesome. Yeah, maybe I should get an intern. I mean, I can't afford to pay anybody to video things, but that's not a bad idea, Cammie. Maybe you're full of awesome ideas today, Cammie. That's awesome. So I'll read back through all these comments anyway, but that's awesome. So honestly, Jimmy, I cannot tell you what on earth the problem or why not problem. I cannot tell you why on earth the valves from a KTM are so stinking expensive. I can say that the 350, if that's what you're talking about, maybe that's what you're riding. Like they're super expensive because you cannot buy an aftermarket 350 valve. Like I can't find them on Kibblewhites. I haven't found them Pro X either. So anyway, to talk about Pro X valves, I've never had a problem with Pro X valves. I have had, I've installed lots of them for folks, and everybody's been really happy. Roger Hurd, that is an awesome comment. Roger says, "Let me hold it." LOL, that would be hilarious. 150 hours. Next part of the question. Jimmy did well. He snuck 38 questions into one question. 150 hours or 1 year on a $200 OEM. Intake valve not in spec. Should you shim or replace? Shim it. If it's not that far, Eric. If those are titanium valves, then that is why. And and they are Del West, or they were Del West. So Eric Hahn is coming in with some information that's good to know. Dan Malone, what's a valve? Power valve is the only valve I really care about. But so if that's the case, because the problem is they don't look like all the other titanium valves. And if that's the case, that's why they're expensive, is that they're titanium and they must use a really good coating on them because KTM valves don't wear out very fast. So if someone can confirm that, and Eric, maybe you can confirm that 100% that those are tie, that would be awesome. They also feel heavier than the Yamaha tie valves, and I know Yamahas are smaller if they've got the 5-valve head and all that stuff. Rocky Mountain had $50 Pro X. That's awesome. I couldn't find Pro X in all of our catalog. We sell Pro X, but the thing about switching to steel valves, if you do, and I wouldn't say it's a bad idea, is that you really do need to put the heavier springs in to keep them from floating. You don't want that. John D, how's the hip doing? When will the first ride be? I got to figure that out on the first ride. I actually, so personally, I'm going to be riding February 19th somewhere, somehow, even if it's in the snow, because that's 12 weeks after the surgery. Now, I am going to host a big ride for everybody to come hang out and ride. So that'll probably be at the beginning of March, mainly to hope for better weather, because February 19th could look just like it does today, which is snowy. And I should come there to ride. Actually, that'd be not a bad idea, Roger. I should come there and pick up that motorcycle. That'd be way cool. Okay, we're talking about that. You and I, Roger, message me privately. That'd be cool. Maybe do that right in the beginning of February. That'd be awesome. So, like I said, Eric, again, and this is awesome because obviously I don't know everything. I just do know. So John, I have studs. I have a whole set of tires if I need to ride in the snow. So I'm good there. I got extra wheels for the KTM, all that stuff. So if that is the case, that is why those Del West valves are better than every other tie valve I've ever worked with, and they're probably worth $200, so they can get the RPMs up high enough. But if it were my bike and I needed valves in it, I would probably switch to Kibblewhites. I really like Kibblewhite stuff a lot. It's just, man, I've had such good luck with Kibblewhite valves. I really, 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 really like their setup. Also, they're an American company, and Del West might be too. But anyway, so but to your question, Jimmy, about shimming, depending on how far out of spec it is, honestly, I even if it's way out of spec, I'd shim it at least once because you're going to get multiple hours of riding out of the shim job. Because again, KTM valve trains really do hold up well now. I can't say that for the RFS motor, but I can say that for the new motors. Daniel Hatton, what's happening? So yeah, I would shim it. I wouldn't let's see. I wouldn't replace it at 150 hours. Even if you're doing a piston, I would do the piston, shim the valve, put it back together, it'd be good to go. Also, what head prep work is recommended when you are replacing valves? So if you are replacing valves and you got lots of hours on a motor, absolutely 100% you should have the seats cut, not lapped. Do not lap titanium valves ever, ever, ever. Don't do that, because that, and for all the folks watching who don't know what we're talking about, valve lapping, an old school thing that you used to do on steel valves with a good steel seat in the head, and you could get the valve to seal well without having to cut the heads. It's fine on that style of motor, but with titanium, if you put lapping compound on the if you put lapping compound on the valve and then lap it in, you are going to ruin that valve almost immediately. It will wear out. So it'll work for a little bit, but it'll wear out really fast. So please don't lap your titanium valves. And again, if those Del West are titanium, don't do it. And again, I need to know 100% that those Del West are tie, and hopefully Eric maybe is doing some research to make sure, because they could just be some really high-end steel. I don't know. Like I said, I definitely don't know everything. I do know that they're really nice valves. Dan Malone, where did you go snowshoeing? I went up to the Grand Mesa and did to the Ward Lake trails, and it was awesome. It was super, super. There's a ton of snow on the Grand Mesa. If you guys have snow bikes or snowmobiles, another conditions report, the Grand Mesa has a boatload of snow. I don't know if it's enough to just go peeling out into anywhere without hitting rocks, but it's a lot. So I like to have the seats cut. If I take the thing apart, though, if I take the whole thing apart, get the valves out, and I'm putting, like, for instance, like a lot of times I'm just putting new seals on when I do a top end, and if we're not doing valves because the valves are in good shape, I take them out. If I look at it, everything looks good, and I'm just doing seals, I just put them back in. Like, I don't recut the seats, all that. It's never a bad idea to have the seats cut, but honestly, we don't have the tools to do that at the shop, so that means I got to send it out to someone and have it done. I don't have anyone here super close that I totally trust with that, so it's like I got to send it out. It takes time. And again, if the seats look good, the valve faces look really good, then I don't worry about it. So there we go. And Happy New Year, Jimmy. I hope that answered your questions. Let me know if you have any other questions about that. I hope that's helpful. But the main thing is shim that 350 valve and go ride. And what the very worst case scenario is that it goes out of spec in 40, 50 hours, and then you got to take it apart and replace it. Big deal. That's half a season. Well, third of a season. Anyway, Ed Hall, I know you're watching. Thank you for watching, Ed. You guys are awesome. Here's one. I need advice. 450 EXC 2004, 500 hours. And this is just funny. Just after saying that I don't think the RFS motors valve trains last very long, Ed's proving me wrong. Although, honestly, so everybody knows that Honda CRF for a long time had horrible valve trains and they wore out really fast. There are examples all over the place of CRFs that had valves that lasted forever. Anyway, Ed Hall. Yes, Cammy. So Cammy says you're on her big screen. Post a picture later. That'd be awesome. I'd love to see it. Okay, AJ, I'm going to get to your question in just a second. I started with Ed. So he's got a 450 EXC 2004. So that's an RFS motor. 500 hours, never part, uses no oil, runs great, totally reliable, no problems. Rebuild it or ride it. Ride it. I mean, you guys can be interesting to see what people say here, because I say ride it. If it's not burning oil and it's not causing problems, it starts easy and all that, ride the thing. You're not, like, it's an old bike, right? I mean, it's now 16 years old. So it's an old bike. You're not going to gain a whole bunch by rebuilding it. You're not going to make it worth a bunch more money. I would just ride it until you have problems and then fix it, because it's not, to me, a bike like that isn't worth just sinking a ton of money into. So I say ride it and have a ton of fun. Pop wheelies, smile, hold it wide. Just forget it, man. Like, just have a ton of fun. Yes, Jimmy, I like it. Ride it till you can't. Now, like that. So here is a great example, right? So our KTM, if you haven't watched, here's a plug for our series on Daisy, the rebuilding Daisy, where we took it all the way down to the frame and all the way back up and looked at everything. So I did that, obviously, and the bike was running and working just fine. But chassis, bearings, suspension service, those things that need to happen on a regular basis, and they aren't terribly expensive or complicated. So tearing it all apart, it takes some time, right? But like tearing it all apart, you get to look at everything, you get acquainted with it, whatever, but you're not putting a ton of money and effort into it. You'll notice if you watch the videos that I don't take the motor apart. It's got almost 200 hours on it. Someone out there be telling me to put a crank in it, right? Ed, yes, put as many hours as you can on the thing. Some would be like, oh, I put a crank in every 200. Well, if I were a professional racer and I want to make sure everything's perfect, okay, great, whatever. But I didn't take the motor apart because I don't need to take the motor apart. I don't need to spend a bunch of money or time on the engine when it's running fine. If it stops running fine, then I'll fix it. Now, that is not to say on a newer bike when you got 150 hours on it and you are running the risk of a catastrophic failure on a high performance 4-stroke like that 350, I would put a cam chain in and I probably put a piston in and things like that. I'm actually going to do a short video on why we put pistons in things at certain hour intervals. I think you guys should enjoy that. That'll be up here in the next week or so. So I think it'll make sense. It's a math question. So there we go. Jeff Vincent, are you watching? You have a good question. Let me know if you're watching. Jaden Barber, what's happening? El Varbalite. So Jeff Vincent asks, pump gas with additives or race gas? So my first answer to that is with a question. I'm like Socrates. Anyway, sorry. The Moto Socrates. My first question is, why are you needing augmented fuel for your motorcycle? Now, I'm going to assume James Barrett, please post a little minion on this. I need that in my life. I love that minion guy so much. So James is one of our top fans, and he always posts this little minion pirate guy, and it's like my favorite. Yeah, anyway, that's awesome. So I'm going to assume that this Jeff Benson, who's asking about pump gas with additives or race gas, has a motor that requires those things. Then the only kind of motors that require those things are really high compression motors. So I'm going to assume they're dealing with a thing that actually has Roger Hurd says race gas in my 125 or it blows up for sure. I'm sure it's a well-built high performance motor. So there we go. Hey, Clyde Jorgensen, what's happening? Cami, I'm going to get to that question in just a second. So I'm assuming that the motor needs it. I say race gas instead of gas with additives. It's just better. It's got the same additives basically, probably as whatever you would add to it, but it starts with better fuel that doesn't have ethanol in it and all that other stuff. So if you've got a thing that requires it, just put good race gas in it. I don't have a personal preference on race gas. I like VP stuff. Whatever. Sunoco's good. So yeah, there we go. Race gas, not gas additives. All right. And by the way, keep coming. We're going to go long on this. I said we're going to go to 11:30. So questions, please keep them coming if you want. From Chad, says Cami, if Wiseco wrist pin bearing works in a Vortex piston, do you need an OEM? No. You can run the Wiseco. I have run numerous mismatched wrist pin bearings in things. Roger Hurd, 110 out of the pump here. Nice. That's probably down at the boat dock, right, Roger? Because lots of boats need that. Hey, Ron Carr, what's happening, man? Are you in Florida right now? If you are, you're loving it because it's puking snow. Mixed match wrist pin bearings really shouldn't ever be a problem. I've never had that be a problem. Clyde says Avgas has lead, good lubricant. Yeah, so Avgas does have lead, and it is good lubricant. It's always like 110 low lead or 100 low lead, they call it, and so that lead is a good lubricant. It's also there to make the octane go higher. So it's anyway, lead. So lead used to be the additive that they put in gas to raise the octane. And octane, if anybody doesn't know, that octane rating, the higher the number, the less prone to, excuse me, let me start over. The higher the octane, the lower the volatility of the fuel. So at 110 octane actually is less explosive and burns less easily than 87. So that's why it's not really awesome or even worthwhile to put race gas in a motor that's just a stock motor with normal compression, because it doesn't do really any good. It doesn't do anything other than not burn as well. So I don't recommend any kind of high octane things for anything unless you've got a motor that requires it. I do. Yep. So yeah, okay, good. Michael Casella says avgas is also oxygenated, which will change your air-fuel ratio. Yes, it will, and it will cause lots of problems on fuel-injected bikes. Just so you know, because it will blow things up. It gets super hot, boils gas. Anyway, it's not a big deal with a carburetor because it's easy to change jets and fix that, right? But on fuel-injected bikes, you need a computer to do that, and if you don't know what you're doing, you will cause problems. Dan Malone says, so Saturday night, A1, who's going to win? Even if I'd like to see Adam or Zach win, I consider the reality. Hang on. I'm trying to get to see more of his comment. And want for Webb. Hey, Lauren Noonan Brown, what's happening? Let's talk about Supercross. We'll talk about 450s because 250s are always a whole bunch of new kids. I mean, anyway, 450s, guys, chime in. Who do you think is going to win A1? I am going to say that honestly, I think Tomac is going to win. He's on a roll. He struggles A1. Roger Hurd, I so badly really want Roxon to win A1. Oh, do I want Ken Roxon to win? But I think that Tomac I think he might have got his stuff sorted out and he might win. Like, I don't know. We'll see, obviously. Chandler Henry, Webb. I would love to see Webb win. Webb, I mean, I don't really have a problem with anybody. Actually, the funny thing is, I have a problem with Eli Tomac. I don't love anyway, I'm not a big fan of Eli Tomac, but I think he's going to win. Roger Hurd says Blowmac will choke. I love it. Suman, ET3. I know Tomac does choke a lot, especially early in Supercross, but I don't know. I just have a feeling. Hey, if you guys haven't joined our Supercross RM Fantasy SX, so Rocky Mountain Fantasy SX, anyway, if you haven't joined the Fantasy Supercross thing with Highland Cycles, please do, because we always have a big group every year. It's super fun, giving each other a hard time and trying to beat everybody. It's just under Highland Cycles. There's no password for it, so if you go to rmfantasysx.com, set up an account if you haven't. If you have, and scroll down to the browse groups, click on that, type in Highland Space Cycles, join our group. It'll be awesome. We will have some prizes down the line for people who win certain weeks. I'm not doing anything this week. Though, if you're in town, Montrose that is, and you want to come watch Supercross with us, we're doing it here at the house. It's a late one. So it's a California one, so we're not doing dinner or anything like that. We're just going to have snacks and things, but come on over if you want. Let's see. AJ says, would you put time into a 14-year-old TTR 250 to rebuild the top end? Bike runs okay, but lots of hours. Yeah, I would if I could do it myself, which I can. That's a great question. Because you're saying the bike runs okay. I'm guessing it doesn't run perfectly. Maybe it burns a little bit of oil. If it runs perfectly and doesn't burn oil, I would go back to the same thing that I said before, which is just ride it. But yeah. So, but yeah, I love TTR 250s, and they don't make them anymore, which is a bummer. I think it's a great bike. It was actually little known fact. It was my very first dirt bike I ever owned. First dirt bike ever was a TTR 250, a 2002, and I loved it, honestly. I wish I still had it, really, because it was street legal. I could ride around town here. It actually goes places. You can ride that thing anywhere. It's kind of like an XR, but with electric start. So, AJ, yes, I would rebuild it if it needs it. If it's perfect, and I just ride the thing. Because those things, the beauty of a bike that doesn't make a ton of horsepower is that they don't wear out. They don't wear out as fast as the bikes that make tons of horsepower. So that goes back to that RFS Ed Hall, no offense, but that bike doesn't make a ton of horsepower compared to modern bikes. That's why it's holding up so well. Also, KTM back in those days, the RFS motor in some ways is very, very, very robust. Other ways, not so much. But they're like the crank, oh my gosh. If you've ever held a crankshaft from an RFS KTM, you know why they last a long time. Holy moly. Roger Hurd says his KX250 smokes. Should he put a piston in it? Yes, I love it. Justin Brayton will win A1, says Clyde. That is an interesting thing to say. That would be cool, Justin Brayton. I like Justin Brayton a lot, actually. That'd be cool. He's an old guy, too. Old. I'm like twice his age. Thomas, yeah, I'm with Roxon. I want Roxon to win. So, okay. Post who you think is going to win A1, but then post who you really want to win A1 and the season. I say I really badly want Ken Roxon to win. I will go down a political rabbit hole real fast with that. Ken Roxon, when the whole kneeling thing was going on with the NFL and the BS with those yahoos. Hey, Gerald Luckett, what's happening? When all that was going on, and everybody was being a whiny little baby about the U.S. not being their favorite country, but they were busy taking money from U.S. citizens and all that stuff. Ken Roxon came out and made a public statement that was brilliant. He said, and I'm super duper paraphrasing, but basically he said, this is the greatest country on earth. I owe all of my success and racing to the United States. So I personally will stand up and put my hand over my heart for the national anthem. Man, I love Ken Roxon. That's awesome. Ooh, yeah, right on, Clyde. I like it. I would love AC9 to win also, but again, I'm going Roxon. He's a little bit older, so that's awesome. AJ, you say no oil burning. Man, I'd run that thing, and especially if it's running good and you're not having to, if it's starting good and all that, and maybe go through, do a valve adjustment, like a super service on it, like adjust the valves, go through, do what I did with the Daisy, take it apart, look at the chassis, go through the whole thing and get to know it, and then put it back together, run it. Okay, Eric Hahn confirmed the KTM 4-strokes use tie valves. They used to be Del West, but they have changed only in the past couple of years. Okay. Thank you very much, Eric. Whatever those tie valve, because again, titanium is not all titanium. They've mixed things in with it. Whatever they do to those tie valves is amazing and way better than everybody else's. So thank you, Eric. That is awesome. AJ, I teach at a trail school teaching riders, and it was an old school bike. Right on. Dude, run it. Like those, it won't scatter anything in there. So if it just starts to get hard, then I'd fix it, because I do like those. Actually, I really like those. Roger Hurd wants Baggett. Zach Osborne wants, Daniel Malone, the mailman, wants Zach Osborne to win, but probably he thinks Webb will probably do it. Suman Ken Roxon, Chad, come on, dude. Thomas, Chad Reed. I love Chad Reed, and again, he's an old guy. I want him to do well, but he's not going to win. I really don't think he's got it. I mean, I don't know. If he has the best day of his life, he might win. And everybody else has a part. Dan Malone says wild card Vince Freezy. That's who I have. I have Freezy in 10th also. That's going to be interesting. I would like to see. Freezy's nemesis. I can't remember the name. He got his face broken apart, and that was super duper sad. Pike, Weston Pike. How is Pike? Does anybody know if Pike's back racing? I don't know if he's ever going to race again. I can't remember. I haven't heard anything, and I don't know. Yeah. Okay. Other questions? Any other questions or predictions on Supercross? Anybody out there? Logan, thank you. Says not yet on Pike. That is a bummer. I really hope he heals up. He was good for the sport because he was a crazy man and punched people. I know that that's silly, but we need excitement, right? And I don't know. It's fun. I don't want anybody to get hurt. I don't love the taking people out on the track. That's no good at all. Just blatantly taking people out, that could get people hurt in careers. But I like some rough racing. I like some aggressive racing. It makes the whole thing a lot more fun to watch. Giveaway tickets to Denver Supercross. That's a good idea. I should do that. That's a good idea. Let's see. Keith McQueen, I'm about to make a burger for lunch. Should I use ketchup or Rotella? Keith, I like it. I would use barbecue sauce. There we go. I switched it up on you. Eric Hahn, sad that Marv blew his ACL, but I won't miss his whoop jumping. That is awesome. I know. It is a bummer that he blew his ACL. I wanted to see Marvin do well. Dan Malone, good ad by Pike and dirt bike for fly helmets. I'd like to see that. Cammie, you're killing it with ideas. I really do appreciate it a lot. So that's awesome. And yes, you should be my 100% idea giver. Let's see. All right, Logan. AP7 wildcard, AC9 for win. Tomac second, Roxon third. All right. I think I have Roxon in second or third. I think he's going to do well. I just don't know if he's going to win. I don't know. I mean, whatever. Let's see. Wintertime in the Rocky Mountains obviously is now. If you are here, you can see that. Cammie, I like it. We can have monthly coffee meetings. I'm in 100%. We need to do that. So it is wintertime. The shop is slow. Which is normal this time of year, especially leading into Christmas. Usually it starts to pick up right now, but if you guys need work, come on down. We can make them happen fast. Chantel Shoemaker, how's it going? So yeah, we're slow as always. So winter is the time. If you don't want to do the work yourself, you don't want to watch our YouTube videos and learn and do it yourself, then bring it on down. That'd be awesome. AJ, you bet for the answers. I'm always happy to answer. Dirt bikes. Have a great day. Let's see. Oh, again. Ooh, my sound and mouth are out of sync. It's probably my internet. I don't know that I can fix that right now. So sorry. But if again, I'm gonna have another post about this. But Daily Schlag is coming. The Daily Schlag, every day that we're open, I'm filming a video about at least one of the projects we're going to do at the shop. It's going to be awesome. It should be funny. It should be a lot of fun. Tell your friends to subscribe. This channel's coming. We're going for, I want big subscribers. I want to spread the gospel of two wheels better than anybody else out there. So also on that point, let me know what I need to do to make it better for you. I need to know because, I'm getting some wonderful comments, people saying wonderful things, and that's great. And I'm going to keep doing what we're doing. But if you've got better ideas, like Cammie has some phenomenal ideas, but if you've got more ideas and ways I can do my job better, please let me know. Like I said, the Daily Schlag is going to be hilarious. It's going to be fun. And Roger heard, no, we are not changing the day for Gospel of Two Wheels. It's going to be back on Thursday. I just did it today because it was New Year's Day, and I figured everybody would be off and not at work, and hopefully awake at 10:30. Maybe not, but that's cool. I hope everybody had a wonderful New Year's Eve. My partying involves seltzer water and watching Avatar with my kids, so I'm kind of boring when it comes to that stuff. Dan Malone says, "How about Malcolm Stewart?" I don't know, what is Malcolm Stewart up to. I've not been paying attention. Does he have a ride this year? I love that kid. I think he's great, and I think it would be awesome for him to do well. I don't know if he's gonna win anything, unfortunately, but I mean, you never know. Actually, that's the thing about Anaheim 1 is it's always exciting. A lot of times it's some yahoo who wins it that you've never heard of, or who's back of the pack and struggling because they're just super hungry, and I love that about Anaheim 1. Yeah, like I said, look, what else is going on here in the Montrose area other than snow? Oh, so Blue Mesa, if you guys are into riding dirt bikes on ice, Blue Mesa is freezing up well and will be, it's rideable now down like closer to Gunnison. It's 100% rideable closer to Gunnison. I haven't been out there, obviously, because of my hip, but I know that it's good. So that's awesome. Let's see what else. Any other questions? Hey, CJ, what up? Keith McQueen says, "Thanks for all the vids. Got to finish rebuilding my KX65 SX. Happy 2020 and dirt bikes." Yes, awesome, Keith. Have fun rebuilding that 65 SX. I love working on mini bikes because they're little. Everything's light and it's easy and it's just and they're generally 2-strokes, so that's awesome too. Let's see what else. Anything else that anybody has any questions about? You guys are all still here watching, and I appreciate that. Hey, if you're watching on YouTube, give us a thumbs up. That'd be awesome. Also, if you haven't yet, please subscribe. We just hit 1,600 subscribers, actually right at the new year. I don't know if it was at midnight or not, but I went to bed. There was 1,597. I woke up, there were 1,600. So I'm calling it. We hit 1,600 for 2019. That's huge. Thank you. Also, if you guys at all ever want to shoot me ideas for videos, like how-to videos that you want to see, Morgan at highland-cycles.com. Send me an email. We'll try to make sure we get that done. And just so you know, like the way I come up with these ideas is just literally, it's just how my day goes. So I get to the shop, I start working, I decide on if it's worth videoing or not, and I either shoot the video or I don't. Again, Daily Schlag is going to be awesome because we're going to video every day, even the simple things, tire changes, oil changes, whatever. We're going to do it all, and I'll have at least one job every day. I'm going to try to do it forever. Like, I don't know about who knows, but at least for 2020, Daily Schlag. It's going to be awesome. Terry Racer, what is your opening music band name? That is the Vicious Cycles. And I don't think the reason I get away with that on YouTube is I don't know that they exist anymore, and they were so small that they don't get picked up by the YouTube algorithm. But they're awesome. And I can't remember the name of that. I think they only have one album. A buddy of mine named Travis Newbold, if anybody knows Newbold, he's awesome and quite a character and one heck of an awesome mechanic and writer. He gave me that album a long time. He burned me a CD back when that was a thing. Michael Casella, I just want to come ride out in Colorado. Please do. If you get out here, I will take you riding. I will show you around. It's awesome. Super awesome, actually. Especially this part of Western Colorado. Don't go to the Front Range. It's horrible over there. Too many people, not enough open ground, all that stuff. I mean, there's some really cool stuff, but you either have to ride illegally to do it or there's a million people. Over here, it's awesome. I know I'm promoting and I'm bringing lots of people here, but it's a big place and we still don't run into people. So come on out and I will show you around. Dallas Hughes, what's happening? Happy New Year. Oh, by the way, Jeezy, give Bella and Otis a knuckles and a high five. Let's see. Anything else? like I said we'd go to 11:30. We can, or I can shut it down. Doesn't matter. But if you guys have questions, let me know. Yes, Dallas Hughes, Dirt Bikes for President 2020. That's a sticker. That's happening. Yes. Oh, I like that. I like that a lot. Nice. If we do get around to making a sticker that says Dirt Bikes for President 2020, I'm crediting it all to Dallas Hughes. Let's see. I don't know. Anything else? Anybody else? Are the trails one way? No, they are not one way here, Roger. That can be a problem, as per my video of me slamming into a guy head on. That was not awesome. But it's also nice that they're not regulating it all that much. But our trails generally are, just open. CJ, I will definitely give the boys a high five and a fist bump. They're in there watching cartoons or something. I don't know. Doing things that you do on Christmas break when it's dumping snow. We sledded yesterday, so they're kind of worn out. We beat them up pretty good, so it was good. The dog did well. Roger heard, yes, they do go both ways. That's awesome. I hope you were setting that up. That's awesome. Paul Yancey, running in your area, tubes, tubeless, or moose, low or high pressure? Awesome question, Paul, because I know you're coming. So my answer is always moose. Mooses. I run Nitro Platinums because I feel like they last a lot longer than the Michelins. I think the Michelins probably have a little bit better feel initially, like early on in their use, but they definitely get squishy fast and they're expensive. So I like to run something that lasts a little bit longer. Lots of guys run tubeless around here. I do not recommend it at all, period. There are too many rocks, sharp rocks in our area that will ruin tires that have tubeless. Because, I mean, the whole idea of the tubeless is that you run low pressure to get more traction, which is awesome. But when you run that lower pressure with a tire that was not intended to be tubeless, because dirt bike tires aren't generally, the carcass is too soft, you hit a sharp rock, catch on, it rips a giant hole in the carcass, and then you're out of luck. You can't, it's too big to plug, all that stuff. So I'm not a fan of tubeless. If you go backwards through all of our social media, you find that out. I have pretty strong feelings about tubeless. But the mooses are, I don't know, mooses are the way to go. We have plenty of rocks that can cause a flat and make things not awesome. So I like mooses. Tubes, if I were not going to run mooses, I would run Super Duty tubes, and I would run probably 14, 15 pounds, which is high because that keeps you from getting flats, but that's fine. Roger Hurd says, Zip Tie sells moose lube by the bucket. Lube your moose. They do, and I'm pretty sure that that Zip Tie lube is Murphy's tire soap. So that is I like Murphy's tire soap. It's probably not the best for back east where things are wet and muddy all the time, because the Murphy's is soap and it will wash out of your tire. And yeah, it's not awesome for that. So around here where it's dry, the Murphy's holds up and lasts a long, long time. So Paul, especially since you're coming all the way from Canada to come ride with us, I highly recommend putting mooses in. That way you don't have any problems. So Kent Sundgren, 2 questions. When does spring kick in there? And would you guide an old slow guy? Yes. You're down the springs. So 100%, I will love to take you out, Kent, and show you around all of our awesome places. And spring here for our riding in the spring is I say a lot today. Anyway, you can guarantee by April, but honestly, usually March starts to be really nice around here. But the problem with March, just to be honest, is that it's Colorado and we get most of our snow in March historically. It's usually up high. It usually doesn't happen down here in the valley, but it can. And it can snow a foot and ruin things. And then the snow goes away really fast in March because by then the days are longer and warmer. But it makes everything muddy and miserable. And our mud is absolutely horrid out here. So Roger Hurd says, back in the day, I used Molly grease. Nice. Yeah, I mean, any kind of good grease would work as long as it stays in there. So yeah, Kent, come on over. March. And the thing, if you're in the springs, you can kind of keep an eye on the weather and we can make that happen. But I'd love to show you around 100%. Paul, when are you coming again? I forget. You're coming in like midsummer, I think July, August, something like that. That'd be awesome. We have a few minutes left. Any other questions? Any other comments? John, I will for sure. I will let you know when we do the old slow guy ride 100%. And your TT will be, by the way, guys, if you're watching on Facebook, John Boz is the guy who owns that beautiful, clean TT 600. Oh, that's right, Paul, you're coming in April. Never mind. So perfect timing. I forgot. April is going to be brilliant. April is always brilliant around here. We can get some rain and make things a little dicey, but there's places to go when it rains that are awesome, that are not far away. Again, if you're watching this from elsewhere in the country and you haven't ever been to Montrose, Colorado, or this part of Western Colorado, it is the mecca for dirt bikes, in my opinion, because we have close to town, we have two amazing riding areas that are giant and awesome in like that are 15 minutes, 10 minutes from town, like really, really close. And then we have 30 minutes from town, amazing stuff that's like up high in the mountains. And then within an hour and a half radius, we have all of it, right? Sargent's, Taylor Park, Crested Butte, Grand Junction, Rabbit Valley, Westwater, Utah. We're dangerously close to Moab, so it's right there. Yeah, Roger Hurd got to ride in the rain here in the Neurocross and experience our mud. Oh my God, that was miserable. I felt bad for you. I'm glad that I wasn't riding. Yeah, Paul, dude, it's gonna be so good. Oh man, in April, I'm gonna be like fit and like freaking out to ride as much as humanly possible. So I just can't wait to do that. Let's see what else. It's like I said, dumping snow, guys. So right now, if you're even considering coming over to Montrose to ride, you better have screws in the tires. It's like, I would say I'm sorry, my window is like right there. I would say it's probably 2.5 inches now since about 10. It started snowing. So that's awesome. I'm excited. It's good because that's more moisture in the ground for our reservoirs. That's more moisture for better traction and less dust. So it's awesome. Any other questions out there for anybody still watching? Again, hey, Punk Rock Club, thanks for sticking around to the end. If you don't know what the Punk Rock Club is, that is just my way of calling all you guys who stick around all the way to the end of any of my videos, YouTube videos, Facebook videos, these shows. Again, I really appreciate you guys sticking around to the end. If you haven't watched the final build video on Daisy, if you stick all the way to the end, there's a special deal. I'm not going to say what it is. You got to go watch it. You can obviously just skip to the end if you want, but I know how it works. But yeah, so Punk Rock Club, thanks for sticking around. And to demarcate that you are part of the Punk Rock Club, give us the horns, give us that emoji. That'd be awesome. Yeah, Roger, we are going to chat on the 125 very, very, very soon. Maybe later today, if not today, tomorrow. We'll get that sorted out because that's huge. That would be really good. Hey, Portal, what's going on? Right on, Paul. Go get a coffee. I will. You know what? I'm going to shut it down just a couple minutes early. You guys have been awesome. This has been awesome. You guys, tons of people watched today. Thank you so much for that. Lots of people on YouTube. That's our biggest one, I think, yet on YouTube, at least consistently. So thank you so much. Guys, have a ripping awesome day. Please get out and spread the gospel of two wheels. And even though it's snowing, you got to find some time to ride your dirt bikes.